Dobrze, w takim razie zaczniemy ostatnią prezentację i nasz gość, który przyleciał specjalnie z Oslo, żeby opowiedzieć o tym, czy bogate interfejsy czynią banki bogatszymi. Haakon, the mic is yours.
Thank you. I've been watching the three last presenters in Polish, so I'm going to do this in Norwegian. So I hope that's okay. I didn't understand anything of it, but I'm sure it was great. Before I'm going to talk about the bank case I have three things to say. First is that Making Waves is the company I'm working for. We are based in Norway and in Poland. In Norway we have about 200 in Norway and 76 in Poland. Yeah. And in Poland we are looking for interaction designers and SharePoint people. Yeah, that was the commercial break. And another thing I want to say, since we are Usability Day in Kraków, I have a usability tip for Kraków, because I was taking out money in the ATMs here to buy this one, the tie, because it's a bank, and I thought I might have a tie on. You press you put in the card, you get to choose the language, that's okay. You get to choose the amount, that's pretty regular. And then you come to this page where you're asked to choose between taking a 5% commission with a set currency exchange rate, or you can do it without knowing what kind of exchange rate you're going to get. So you can choose between getting 5% or something you don't know what is. So it's a game, yeah, and I feel that I'm losing on both ends. So it's terrible. Stop doing that. And the third thing I want to say is that when I was told I'm going to have a talk in Poland, and immediately I started to save my moustache, you know, to be more like you. But it's another reason as well. I talked to Monica and Lukas and they told me that you don't know what Movember is. You know? Yeah. Movember is you save your mustache for 1 month and you put your picture up in the website and your friends donate money. And then that's for the cancer, the prostate cancer case. Worldwide they have collected about 46 million euros so far this month. So it's a really huge thing. So, without further ado, I'm going to talk about this. Does a rich GUI make the bank richer? We are talking about a little bit about the client. This is part about Invest. It's a fairly regional bank. They have their offices in the western of Norway. They are the third largest bank and the second oldest bank. They had an old website that didn't really support the design. It was very ugly, to be frank. And yeah, they feel also that they could get the most out of the website because they had almost no conversion rates. So, talking about how we took something like this is the old website, and did something, and ended up with 300% conversion rate on the site. That's pretty high, and I'm going to go into great detail about how we actually designed the column calculator, yeah. This is boring and complicated. So we have three principles that we wanted to make in the project at the start. We were a small project group, only 4 people actually. It's me as an interaction designer, and we had a graphic designer, a front-end developer, and the client, which was represented with one guy that I've been working on in other work. So I knew him pretty well. This was the core group designing the whole website, and then we have, of course, the other people programming it and stuff in front. So we have 3 principles. For first, banking is fun. Okay, everybody agree about that? We wanted it to be fun, so we so that was a very important principle. Call to action. Everything you do, everything you see on the web page should have some type of way to do something, to do an action. So every page has to have some type of call to action. That was a very important principle. And this last one was from the client. More eye candy. He drove my graphic designer almost mad. More eye candy, more eye candy. I'm going to show you some other examples there. So, with these 3 principles, I'm going to show you a little bit on what we made behind the login. When you log in on the NetBank, you have a pretty rich interface. Here you have loans. Instead of boring tables and stuff, you have a more rich interface here. I have to add that we started working with this project in 2008. It was launched in 2011. And so, yeah, back then we were still fighting with, are we going to do HTML5 or are we going to do Flash? So we ended up in the wrong side, we ended up with Flash. Something we regret now, of course. But much of the stuff we have made could easily be done in HTML5 if they couldn't bother. Yeah. Here we have your car loan. You can see how we're going to pay for it over the years. You have different types of facts about it. And you can also go through the other loans, previous and next. This is an example of the eye candy stuff. Those of you who are interaction designers are probably laughing about this. I am. The client wanted some cool graphs, so the designers took it all away and made a 3D stuff. You all can't see it here, but it's a mirror effect in the bottom there. And this is, of course, completely useless for information purposes. But the client liked it, but we pulled it off. He also tried some other colors, stuff like that. And this is some fine results. Here you can see your savings and stocks. How you can have bank, you can have funds, you have pension. And yeah, I have to say something about the colors here. That's also a battle we lost. Back and forth with the client, we were talking about colors. We suggested some nice colors that would actually stand out. But they got their will there, and we ended up with something a little bit boring. Sorry. And the more complex stuff, we have the stocks. This is all, as I said, in Flash. You can drag and do stuff with it, and it will react on your input. And one important principle is to try to remove complexity. That's something we're driving for all the time. So now I'm trying to show you a video. It's really fast. So this is some of the examples you're going to see if you are logged in and looking at the stuff. Here's a big loan. Yeah. chart, interactive stuff. You can go in and look at details, some of your assets. You can browse other assets, other loans by just clicking between previous and next. My savings and stuff like that. You can see. We had one really big design kind of frame that we couldn't go beyond. We couldn't send data back to the bank. We could only visualize stuff we got from the bank because they had a layer where the really transaction-based stuff we couldn't touch. So everything we had to make is something that couldn't play back into the systems, but only visualize the stuff that they had. That was a really big bummer. Yeah. So you get the point. Lots of different rich interface behind login. Oh, I see it. So this is the stocks. We also have some kind of tables. That's about it. So, I'm now going to talk a little bit in detail about how we made the column calculator. We're going to show me some sketches, and you can also see that I'm not a graphic designer and I don't have an ounce of graphic designer in me, so bear over. This is the calculator from where we started. This was the one that wasn't especially successful. I will explain what it is. You have the loan amount, you have the period for each term, and you have the years, and you have the month amount you're going to pay each month. And you have lots of other stuff. You have something called nominal interest rate, which you actually have to find yourself. You have, I can't translate this. I don't know what it is in Norwegian even. It would be something like guaranteed interest rate. I don't know where I can find that anywhere, so very funny. And you also have the date for receiving the money, the administration cost each month. I have to go and find how much they're going to charge me each month for silly. You have the one-time administration cost, you have to look that up as well. And then you have the date for the first payment. So this is, and lastly, you choose between two different loans, annuity or zero. The last one is kind of, it's important, but you know, it's only less than 5% that does the zero loan. Or the annuity, I don't remember which one actually, but it's only 5% that actually do a choice here, so that's a silly thing to put in. So what do we do? I've started to design stuff, and this is my first sketch. It's pretty. It has some visual elements here. Bank customer, you have to answer yes or no. I'm thinking about sliders for price of the car. You could put in how much money you have right now, how long you're going to pay on it, and you get the important facts up here, and you get a clear call to action, like buy now or call me. Okay? So this is just the first thing. I went to my graphic designer on this one, and I tried to explain it, and he just looked stupid at me, but like I was talking Polish or something to him. No? You can understand it, because you have also complicated bit, like this one where you can see how much you own, how much loan you have to take. So, too complicated. Move on. So I made this one. And you see it's much better, you know? No, it isn't. It's really difficult, but I like the idea because here I could just drag how much I have and how much I had to loan, and then something will happen, you know? It'd be cool. I went to my designer, he just stared at me and it seems like I was talking Polish or something, so I had to do something else. So I ended up with trying to be more visual to get my point across. So I Googled and found a nice picture of a car and I did some graphic design on it. There it's very clear. The colored part is of course the part you own of the car, and the gray part is the one you're going to loan to get, right? And you also have a price tag on how much you're going to this is going to cost you each month. And I had some sliders there and all the facts down there. So now I'm getting somewhere. I took this to my designer and I saw him like, yeah, not too bad. So, and this advanced slider, I tried to play around with it a little bit. Is you could put in a number and then you could step up or down on some, or actually drag the whole stuff on a kind of a scale. I don't know. I also tried the even more advanced stuff, where you could lock down one value and make the others sort of fly around. Yeah. And now I want to talk a little bit about sliders, actually, since we are here in Usability Day, and I want to tell you guys stop using sliders because it really sucks. Why do you use them? They look pretty, but they are incredibly useless, actually. Because if you have something like this, you have 1 million crowns in one end, and you have like 50,000 all the way down there, and you have kind of like a fixed amount you have to have, or put in a number up here and then it will change. I took a screenshot yesterday of a current mortgage calculator in Norway. Here you have a lot of sliders. If you move this one 2 pixels to the right, then you are 300,000-400,000. I don't know what that's going to be in zloty, but it's like a huge amount of money. This is the car loan calculator from the same bank. If I want to change this from 0 to 10,000, and that's would be like something like, what do you think? What's that in zloty?
10,000.
Yeah, Norwegian crowns.
5,000.
5,000 about, yeah. 5,000 zloty. Then you have, you see, I've zoomed it really hard in now. You see, that's 0, and you move it like the length of 3 letters, and then you get 10,000. So if my mother is going to try to use this, she will manage to hit that, because she's not a gamer. I am, so I did, after a few minutes of tweaking it. And I hit the target, actually. That's about 5 pixels, I think. Oh, actually, a little bit more. So, we ended up with this. Huge applause. Oh. Okay, this is what we ended up with. The super stepper, it's called. You have a fairly obvious input field, and you have the controls you know from earlier, like fast forward and slow forward. So if you press that one, it will go fast, and if you press that one, it will be a little bit slower. Then you can both use your keyboard, and you could also use your mouse without like destroying the whole thing. And that's how it looks like when it's designed. And using that widget, I ended up with, back to my car, with key locks and without. And the final result, do you remember this one? And this is the final result. Kind of neat. Now you end up with really these values are predefined on some standard amount, and you can tweak the numbers. And this is all you need to really get price for a loan instead of 10 or 12 or whatever it was. And you also have the actual interest rate, you don't have to look it up. And you have a call to action, clear call to action here. So if I take you very fast through it. And in the middle you have the tipping point, where you have the yellow part is the part of the car you own, and the red part is part of the car you actually have to buy a loan for. So when you tweak the numbers, the illustration in the middle will change. And you have a clear price tag. So this is the type of interaction we did on all the different calculators in the back. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about call to action, how important that is, because that is one of the things I believe that really drove the conversion rate up. If you see on the front page, we made a kind of mini version of the calculator where you only asked about the price and what kind of money you had. If you tweak it around a little bit with the numbers, you can press calculate. Then you go right into the calculator, you bring with you the numbers, you put it in on the front page. So now you're giving the user tiny bits of information all the way down. Which starting with price and your own cash and then adding more complexity. And you end up taking that one into the form, and the form should be pre-filled with those values. This seems like a mundane thing to do, but I mean, if you really look around, very few people actually use the calculators and put the values into the actual forms you're going to send in. It's really strange. And I will also talk a little about how we did the forms. How are we on time? Yeah, we can do. It's a very short video, this one. Here to read the number on the front page. It steps up and down in intervals. And you just press the calculate and it brings with you the numbers. You see the slider going up and down. You own more or less of the car. You play around with it a little bit. And then number of years you're going to pay for it. And then you go straight into the forms, pre-filled. Yeah. These are the small details, I think, that make all the difference sometimes. So, more calculators, more eye candy. This is the currency calculator. We have the home mortgage calculator. We have small loans like you use for your own consumption. And I'm going to talk a little bit about forms, and then I'm talking about numbers, and then I'm done. Okay? This is a kind of a form in the old school way. What we did with the new form is to be very clear about which steps you're going through, really clear about what this form is about, where when you type in something here, then you get the dynamic symbol of if it's correct or if it's wrong filled out, so you get the green one if it's correct, and it turns red if it's wrong, right? So instant validation of the form fields is very important. Everybody should do that. Ideally, you will have all the form fields filled out in beforehand, so it's just to press the next button for the consumer. We also did force the bank to do one thing, and that is if we have this, here you ask if you are married or not, and this is this is a house mortgage form, right? And they ask you why you are married, and I think why did I need to know that? So we forced the bank to, if they had to know that, then they should say why they should, why I'm asking for it. So every field that's kind of unclear, we force the bank to put in the why we do this. So that's actually a small battle we have to do. That was about the forms, it was about calculators, and now the results from the Norwegian jury. We have customer satisfaction score. They did a score right after the redesign, and as you can see, it's pretty even, it's pretty high. It's between 76 for one age group and up to 83 for the older ones. If you zoom in on the different kind of from the groups 25 to 39 and 40 to 60, you see a small difference. It's like nothing, but we think that since very much of the interaction elements got very much bigger, both font sizes and all the input fields is really big. All the buttons are bigger. Maybe that would help the elderly like myself, over 40, to use the bank easier. Maybe these guys not so impressed with the rich interface elements, I don't know. It's a small difference anyway, it's very high in any case. We also did a word analysis of the input from the questionnaire. And this word is like overview. That was something we strived for. This is better and more findable, or in black. The number of application forms, what kind of feedback did I get, what kind of conversion rates did I now have on the bank is like up 3%. So does this make the bank richer? Yeah, maybe. I think so. It also means more work, of course. But we didn't get all the facts from the bank. That's a really hard thing to do. And also, has the website improved? Then we are up to 86%. I think it's better. Only 5% I think it's worse. And if you think about what we actually did, was we redesigned the whole web page. We redesigned the whole behind login banking, online banking. People get really pissed. I can take the last one. People get really pissed when you mess with online banking. It's something they do in average twice a week in Norway. Those customers, and when it changes, then suddenly the stuff isn't there where it used to be. So you getting only 5% being things worse is a great result for us and for the bank. And we also asked this one: how probable is it that you remain at Sparebanken Vest? Highly or highly likely, or highly likely is very high. So basically a huge success for us and the bank. We got 2 prizes, or I'm lying because we almost got 2 prizes. We got on 2nd place in both. But I'm putting out there anyway. I haven't seen 2nd places. It's good, right? The one that won is a crappy website anyway. So we almost won that one. and they almost won that one. And that's the two most prestigious prizes we have in Norway. Yeah, that was the final. This is the 404 page, kind of cute. And this is me looking like I should. So, do you have any questions?